Actual figures. This is from an actual working model, and I used my paperwork for this. This is prior to legalized. This is the Queen of Dragons. And this was just when it was medicinal. We did not have recreational. In 2015, I paid business tax to the city of Shasta. That's not sales tax. This is a business tax, and we could not, at that time, charge the customer or the patient. We had to eat it, and it was taken off the top. So for the year of 2015, I paid $243,000, 633 cents to the city of Shasta. I was only one club. For the month of June, I just picked any random month. This is so much where I didn't have as many staff as I usually did, so I thought that would be a good representative. Month of June, 2016, 7.5 sales tax is my sales tax. That month was $33,000. 962, don't forget that 40 cents. My 6% business tax in the city of Shasta Lake was $27,169.92. My payroll, now this is the one that's good, because that's what matters to you. My payroll for 1 week, and that did not include me or my partner. Okay, I did this straight on staff so that I have accurate data. My payroll for 1 week, $8,360.55. Okay, that's all those people had good jobs. Okay, example 1 month. So like I said, we do all this. It's a repeat of the last one. Okay, so that's my payroll. Payroll, that's one of the things that a lot of people are upset about here is because they're saying who people have working for it. Well, we've had to work without being able to have people on payroll. Okay, that has messed us up really bad. Who you get to come work for you for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you're not going to have a check and you can't put it in the bank and you can't tell them where that money came from. Okay, it's very important here being legal and legitimized. So, if I've got this payroll for 1 week, this is one. This is with my payroll, sales tax, and now, which we didn't have then, was we have a 15% excise. And that goes okay. Now, consider 3 clubs. That's 3 times as much. With 3 clubs as much, we're supporting cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, transportation, nursery, payroll. Not all cannabis retail storefronts will attain that kind of level, of course not. Okay, well, some of us gonna have a little tiny stuff, and we all want to do our own thing, right? However, if we consider the possibility of 3 locations, which is right this second of thinking is a nice conservative number, we can go from there. Just times this retail sales input to our community by 3 times. Wow, that's pretty darn cool. Now add the local persons employed and the monies generated by cultivation, manufacturing, laboratory, distribution, nursery, transportation. All these jobs. Now add the ancillary business landscape, businesses supported by cannabis industry, money, money, money. This supports Trinity economy. This gets Trinity working. Looking at this logically, I love logic. Okay, so in our cultivation, we're supporting local farmers and family, creating jobs. Approximately 200 to 700 people could be employed by the cultivation side of it alone. Manufacturing. The number of employees employed by a manufacturing is estimated to be approximately 25 to 35 employees per 40,000 square foot of space. Laboratories. Let's get a laboratory here, okay? Laboratories employ 7 to 15 persons. And full-time. Transportation of cannabis, that's cannabis from cultivation to distribution to club. It's got those various lines I showed you where we had to have transportation. That can employ 25 to 75 people countywide on a daily. The club dispensary model, which is your retail sales, employs 7 to 12 persons each club. Each club, it takes that many people to run, okay, or more. Security positions, Bauer was talking to us, that's going to be, and that's going to be somebody's new dream business around here, let me tell you. Security, that's it. Security positions could employ 20 to 50 persons right here. Accountants, bookkeepers, office staff, type of labor. Labor will be comprised of skilled and unskilled and professional labor types, including administration, secretarial, and even janitorial. The various positions within the organization will call for different laborers with different skill sets, all coming from the residents of Trinity County. We're too far to commute, so we're going to have to train everybody to do our jobs. All these businesses support Trinity County with local jobs on payroll. Dollars for Trinity. Community support, money for causes, events, programs supporting Trinity County. And soon, the Trinity County business tax, as well as grants for cannabis through the state of California. This is how Trinity County can prosper and help a poverty-struck community. Retail industry. Why Trinity County needs it. The closest dispensaries are located miles away in Redding. Long distance, questionable road conditions can be difficult to overcome. Retail locations within Trinity County can better serve the needs of its medical and recreational citizens. The county development as tourist venue. That's going to be a really big one. That's going to be a lot bigger than you think. We are the Emerald Triangle. And we've got a little bit of a bump over Humboldt because we got more sun. Well, it's true. But with that, with tourist venue, we're going to have farm tours, facility tours, bed and breakfast, special events. Could happen just about every day. How about some new little businesses that pop up that are more eclectic and more friendly to go into? Why Trinity County needs it. Retail ensures a large percentage of small farmers' crops will stay local, cycling the money back into Trinity County. Okay? Otherwise, you're taking it out of Trinity. Who's that helping? Somebody else. Let's bring it all back home. Trinity County, part of the world renowned, the Emerald Triangle, can be self-sufficient in producing and selling cannabis. County will benefit monetarily from sales tax, business taxes when it's passed by the voters. Employment. Trinity County residents need local jobs. Poverty is 21.3% in Trinity County. So say the stats. From what I see, I think it's a little higher. These are the avenues, and you can read it in full. It's on my board back over there. About how we can optimize tax revenue, ability to tax. Okay, so the ability to tax, California cities and counties have a broad authority under state law to establish taxes on commercial cannabis activity. Like all other taxes, taxes on commercial activity are subject to voter approval. So we're all going to have to agree and vote on it and bring the money home to the county. The full write-up is on that board back there. The retail industry. What happens if we don't have it? Well, local governments denied. According to Prop 64, local governments that have banned the cultivation, including personal cultivation, under Section 11362.2b3 of the Health and Safety Code, outdoors upon the grounds of private residence or retail sale of marijuana or marijuana products will not receive funding. In other words, according to the LCC, bans on cultivation or retail sale of cannabis will terminate local eligibility for grant funds. Not only that, what happens if we don't have it? We have a lack of employment. We have a loss of jobs cannabis could provide. Trinity County's economy suffers greatly. The cannabis industry can help employ Trinity County. Local Trinity County has enormous untapped potential. Local people can be fully trained for all these jobs. Local jobs and careers can bring talented commuters home. No more traveling to outward locations to support their family. We can bring them home. We have them. They're just going far away. Imagine if they don't have to pay that $5 a gallon for gas to go support their families. Olders and seniors will be a very valuable asset. Hooray! Yeah, there you go. Yes, very valuable asset. And that's what nobody's taken into account. Okay, we don't just need the youngsters. We need the older folks. They're smart, they're wise. They've been there, they've done that. Okay? They know. And they can stop some of the foolishness. Many possess highly needed skill sets. Management, bookkeepers, security, nurses, drivers, chefs, marketing, event planning. The list is endless. There is a lot of talent here. We just got to pull it out. You've got a little bit used to sitting on your derrieres. But there's nothing been here for you guys to get excited about and work at, and work as a team for. And this is something we can work as a team. Retail sales can help Trinity County. New jobs, careers, supporting families, supporting the community, our community, events, causes, supporting local businesses. Oh, they're not going to be here anymore. People have got to go into a business and make a little money in order for it to stay open. Retail sales, paying taxes. Let's put Trinity to work, helping Trinity County. And I'd like to thank you all. Thank you, Trinity County, Trinity, for your time in viewing this presentation. Thank you.
Cool, thank you so much, Jamie, for all that. That's a lot of information you put together. At this point, if there are any questions people have, this is a chance to ask some questions, either publicly in front of the crowd or privately. And unless there's anything else I'm missing, I believe that is everything we were trying to convey. So hopefully we can get some more input. The boards look pretty bare over there with no little post-it ideas or anything like that. Yeah.
I have a question. I didn't see a map of Wildwood or Douglas City up there, so why were those communities excluded?
I don't think it was intentional exclusion. It could have been something with maps. Some of the detail with the zooming in and not being able to zoom in can be a factor, so it might have looked too small in its size.
No, we're really missing Douglas City, Highland Palm, Wildwood, and
somehow the maps didn't get put into the other maps.
and I thought
it was
that they
just
were
a
on there,
mistake.
but they are, you're right, Douglas City is missing.
If you go on the Trinity County website, there's a really good parcel viewer application you can use, and you can zoom all over the area and zoom all the way in, click on the parcel, and it'll say if it's what the zoning is on it.
So another really huge concern I have, because I've kind of been working through this whole all these different ordinance processes and restricting like what areas you can do an activity in, what zone type you can do an activity in, actually essentially creates a ban in a lot of cases because we have so much unclassified land here and such limited commercial commercial zone lands, there are entire communities that would be just cut out of this opportunity if we don't make this ordinance inclusive and maybe say not allowed in R1 or something, like the cultivation ordinance just says not allowed in these few zones, but we're working off of a zoning ordinance and general plan that's very outdated and mostly unfinished. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind as we're crafting this. Because I've seen, farmers work really hard here. They want to continue to invest here, to vertically integrate their businesses, but then they're having to take their money elsewhere because the ordinance are set up to only include certain zones. And so in doing that, then it's just super limited.
Yeah, I agree there's a lot of limitations with the landscape in Trinity County. I don't know if Leslie or Jeff have anything to say as far as, special use permits or getting other zones rezoned to fall into the parameters. Is there anything?
The thing about commercially zoned, you see, it's pretty limited, obviously. Is when you rezone, unless they can back me up on this, especially something like commercial, will typically take the surrounding zoning, surrounding parcels and do a comparison as they decide whether that's something that would be consistent with what's already being done in the general area. So it's kind of hard in the middle of ag zone properties all of a sudden say we're going to have this one parcel we'd like to rezone as commercial.
And I totally get that, but say Wildwood, for example. There's no sawmill there. If you look at that parcel, it's unclassified. If you look at the general plan designation, it's rural residential. So essentially, Wildwood has almost no opportunity. They have a few highway commercial zones, but I'm guessing that's probably going to be excluded. Maybe it won't be. It's so limited because we're a little bit behind on all these things. So that's a huge concern for me.
Crown Palm is the same.
Yeah, and then the village zoning, I think, is great in High Palm, and it's meant to be very inclusive. But the discussions that have surrounded the village zoning have been very exclusive. And so I don't understand that at all.
Well, one of the things we're trying to do by having these meetings is we're going to have more than one kind of retail ordinance or permit. So we'd like to have something developed for kind of the farm tour potential and the bed and breakfast kind of potential, things like that, where you can use your creativity in helping design these ordinances so it would be helpful for anyone in that type of situation. It's my understanding the highway commercial will be is included in the zoning. So, like any ideas you can have to what would make it the easiest process that's still going to be practical. So, someone who's growing, they can have their area to operate. It's going to be, not necessarily a storefront, but you'll have to have some kind of storage. You'll have to have some kind of process on your property. There will be certain parameters to fill. But that's why we're trying to open up this dialogue and source what are the issues that are going to hold back this process and how we can address them.
And then the other last comment I have is that we have discussed the school bus setbacks with the Mountain Valley Unified School District, and they said they would much rather have a legal operation next to them than an illegal operation. So that's just something to keep in mind, that at least in this area, they're more open to that because it is regulated.
Those are issues I'm facing as a cultivator too. There's like all these complaints and it's actually coming from illegal grows, not my legal grow, and it's like, it's a total issue.
Too, when you're talking rezoning, like the old mill site in High Palm, sometimes, or Wildwood, the historical use of that property goes a long way towards the argument for a rezone also.
Even if the general plan designation was rural residential?
If it's something that was historically used for a commercial and industrial purpose and really hasn't been used for anything else since, that's a good argument for a rezone. Absolutely.
I live in a non-classified area, and if I understand this non-storefront, all I would need is to have a permitted grow, and then a separate building for the non-storefront storage and all that kind of stuff. Is that correct?
I'm not into planning, so I can't.
She says it's correct.
Yeah, it's correct.
You can't have your premises crossing each other, you can't have them touching.
Okay.
Adrian?
Yeah, I'm definitely a supporter of the on-farm sales if we can figure out how to do that as a county and looking out for all the different types of impacts that come from there. And I think as a group we should discuss in meetings the possibility of including builder zoning, since it obviously includes retail in some elements. And with the idea, with just coming to mind, I'm not sure how this will play out, but the mill site, the RRO, general plan and all of that, the only place where the state law really even begins to approach land uses is behind the general plan, and all activities that are zoned in the county have to fit behind the general plan. So you can't zone a retail outfit in a situation where it doesn't actually jive with the minimum. And so that's just another giant mess.
On that same line of thinking, Trinity County has a cottage industry ordinance that came about from, I think, when the mills were all shutting down, and it was created to provide some permitting path forward for home-based businesses, and perhaps there's some crossover there with, like, it's for some limited retail on cultivation sites. Maybe they're not open 365 days a year till 10 p.m. Maybe they're open most weekends or holidays or something. Some limited amount of impact in what could be a neighborhood or an ag setting, not just highway commercial or C1 or C2, but it seems like there's got to be some way to create this, and maybe this could happen in several generations. Maybe the first generation of a retail ordinance here gets the low-hanging fruit that won't have a lot of opposition, like C1, C2, highway commercial, keep it pretty simple. But at some point here, Trinity's style is come on out to the farm and see what we've got, and leave with the best in the world. And that's what people that come here to buy cannabis are going to want to do. And there's got to be a way to do this. Our existing cottage industry ordinance is thick, and it addresses all these different zoning types and different levels of use in the different zones, even rural res and village, that can be done there without pushing it over into a full commercial use. And so I've read it once through a few years ago, but it's a thick document, and I encourage everyone here to read through that and try to find some features in there that can work for this too.
Yeah, there could be a farm to sale component connected to each tier of the current cultivation licenses. So you can speculate, approximately how much product you're going to have on site based on your square footage, and so maybe you're going to need a higher level security if you're over a certain threshold, a lower level of security if you're at a minimal amount. Maybe you're a bed and breakfast that is not a grower, but you still want to have cannabis offered on your property, so you'll even have a very small threshold of packaged product that you can keep on stock. Things like that, I believe we have the ability to design and formulate, and so encourage outside of the box ideas and approaches, and kind of just visualize, how could this work best for me, and we'll be able to, get the best feedback that way. Any other questions?
I thought the county was going to do a general plan update in the next couple of years.
Yes. But that process, I think, is going to take,
It should
more than
It should only take 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Well, so it gives the public a chance
20 years.
to
10,
address
20
the
million.
lack of C2, C1 while it's in process. So while as this business develops, that general plan can address the deficiencies of what's currently going on.
For sure.
And I do recommend that what we do, I'm taking notes, of course, like everybody else is, but in our next event, we should just use all of these questions as, hey, this question came up, and here's the tentative answer for it, and here's some brainstorming around it.
And our next event, I believe, is on May 15th at the Veterans Hall in Weaverville. And I believe we said 4 o'clock. We'll go until 8 o'clock. We don't know if there'll be any food or anything there. We'll try to get an announcement out in advance. But feel free to attend or submit comments, and we can represent them there for you. And big thanks to Bobby and everyone that helped contribute to this meal and get together. It's really a nice event to see happening down here. And thanks for having us in Hayfork. Bobby would like a picture of the people that are on the retail committee. Do you mind coming up?
Sheriff Saxon and CEO, if you could hang out just a minute.
Farmers markets, they said, oh, it has to be dropped off.
Can you get us all in?
Farmers market. What's she saying? Where's he getting tested? Throw it at the farm, the little store right here. Yeah, they were. Yeah, things like that.
Otherwise, it doesn't. We're all set. Oh, no, we got
Yeah, and it sounds real good, but if you haven't got it through.
stickers on anything. There's endless loopholes. They get you somewhere. Cool. What the hell do I know?